Welcome to the Big Money Podcast. I am Jeanine here to guide you to scale your business from 7 to 8 figures and building wealth that lasts for generations. Get ready for audacious strategies, real talk, and next level business moves. So let's dive in today's episode. We are talking today about the business foundation which is required in order to grow your business to 8 figures, that is $2 million months. Couldn't be more excited about this Tuesday episode because so often we believe in order to grow your business, something like super fancy has to happen. And especially in the last 2 years, as I was able to support more and more women to grow their business to 8 figures, I've actually realized in our conversations we would not dive into a new area of expansion. Rather, we would really go back to the basics of business fundamentals and make sure those were in place. And simply by doing that, so many businesses already grew in a very wild way that many of my customers were actually shocked that this was the work that was required in order to grow $2 million a month. So today we are talking about 3 pillars of every successful business that have to be in place no matter where you are currently. And the first part, obviously, or the first pillar, obviously, very straightforward. I keep saying this over and over again. If you don't make money, we don't have a business, we have a hobby. So every business needs a super clear way, obviously, to earn money. This means you have to know what you are selling, and I would like to emphasize the end that's coming and why your dream people want to buy it. An excellent business offers something to people they really desire. It has a particular solution, and that's why the people keep coming back. And this sounds so simple, but for today, I want you to actually go through your offer suite and understand and ask yourself, what is unique about your offers? Why should someone buy from you and not from somebody else? This is the core fundamental issue for most businesses, actually, that is missing. And it sounds so silly. You may ask yourself, like, how can this part be missing? Because obviously it's truly required. But what I've seen is that really many female business owners kind of had, I almost want to say, a lot of good luck of selling in the beginning, making it pretty easy to grow to 7, 6-figure years. And then they ask themselves, okay, what's next? And what happens in the beginning is we are so energetically excited about our offers that our excitement is actually the magnetism. I'm repeating this. In the beginning, in the early years of our business, we are so excited about what we offer that this excitement is actually becoming the magnetism. But we've never asked really ourselves, like, why is this offer unique? Why is this so special? Not just only which problem is my offer solving, but really like which desire is it fulfilling? And I can't wait. In tomorrow's episode, I'm really giving you a behind the scenes inside view about how I solved this and what has changed in my business. And that has been a massive, massive, massive game changer. So it's easy to find something someone buys once. But what I said earlier is an 8-figure business always gives people something they truly desire, so they keep coming back. So for 8 figures, for $1 million months, I highly recommend we are setting up, or you set up, a system that people keep returning. Because I've realized, and this is no rocket science, it takes much more trust to find or to initiate a first-time purchase or get a first-time buyer than rather offer something afterwards and people keep coming back and back and back and back. So definitely something to contemplate for yourself. The second part I would like to address today is, and now some of you are going to love me, others going to hate me. Some of you may put pause and say, like, okay, I'm going to leave the conversation now because we really don't want to talk about this. And this is something I've been seeing so much in the coaching scene and in the spiritual entrepreneur scene. And that is, people are not having a system to track the money that's coming in and out. It is so important to know how much money is coming in every month and how much money is going out. And I'm not just talking about income in expenses. If your business obviously spends more than it makes, it won't last. An 8-figure business always makes sure it has more than enough money today, and you save also for the future. And I am obviously totally guilty of this, and that's why I'm addressing it here. When I was in investment banking, literally every single business had this in place. Like, it is one of the most important parts of a business. However, when I started out as a solopreneur, I didn't have to pay part of my taxes immediately, rather at the end of the year. And this depends obviously on where your business is. So I always put part of my taxes away. But there were also times when I'm like, oh, let me just take this taxpayer money and invest it in something. And yes, we can do this. And the money always got back and I paid my taxes. But I've realized that it takes much more self-discipline to have a system in place literally for your money, for like what comes in, for your taxes, and obviously also what you spend your money on, where you invest your money on. And there is a podcast episode, go back, it's called The Millionaire Matrix, and I talked about the 3-step money approach every human being has to master in order to have a successful an 8-figure and 9-figure business. And that is, you have to learn how to make more money, how to hold, how to have more money, step number 2. Step number 3, how to multiply it. And the tracking of the money that's coming in, it's clearly category number 2. You have to learn to have and to hold more money. And if we don't master this, and most likely if we don't have this in place for our own private finances, we're not going to have this in place for our business. We got to be very honest. And there comes a time where you kind of can get away with this till 7 figures, till $1 million a year. But the more you keep growing afterwards, this will come back. It's like before, we are trying to hide the shit below, underneath the carpet. But eventually we've been hiding so much shit, it's not going to work like that. And remember, we are also always setting up a business already today for a potential exit in the future. Maybe you want to sell your business one day, maybe not. Who cares about this point? But not having a system in place that clearly tracks the money that's coming in and out and knowing your cash flow in your company is a no-go to any potential investor out there. So for me, and that's why I'm addressing this, you as the business owner, the CEO, you have to have a system in place that tracks the money that's coming in and out and the cash flow on hand, and you have to know what's happening. And many spiritual entrepreneurs I talked to in the last years, they haven't done this part. And they always told me, oh, I just believe there's always more than enough money. It's always coming in. Yes, you can have all those beliefs, and this is wonderful, and also have a system in place. It's never either or. I think it's Tony Robbins actually who said this, where our focus goes, our energy flows, and something like this. And the same is true for tracking our money. If we have a focus on there, it keeps growing. But very often, if we don't have a focus, and that means checking our bank statements, having a system in place, how money comes in and out, and what to track, it's also not growing. Why should it? It is like saying to Mother Earth, I want to have a pumpkin, but I'm not seeding a pumpkin, and I'm also not nurturing. Why would you have a pumpkin? It's like saying, but I have the belief that if I talk to Panchamama and tell her I want a pumpkin, that the pumpkin will grow. It may work, it may not. I personally feel more comfortable if I'm planting a pumpkin seed, I'm nurturing that pumpkin seed, and then most likely I will receive a pumpkin. This way feels more aligned to me. I have a better sleep if I'm following that approach than just looking at Panchamama and telling her, I want to get a pumpkin from you, but I'm not going to do anything for that. And there's no right or wrong. We're all different. I'm just sharing my thoughts here. So step number 3, I want to share, which I think is super, super important to grow your business to 8 figures. And that is really creating offers products that solve the highest desires of people. Because when we solve the highest desires, when we are having solutions to the highest desires of people, we are actually attracting premium buyers, and premium buyers will keep returning 24/7, and they bring their friends. For me, premium buyers are people that love to invest in themselves. They know what they desire. They are happy to spend money, and they value quality over price. And these people exist, but we have to market to them very different than to someone who's just out there and looking for the cheapest solution. So in my business, everything is set up for premium buyers. And people have always asked me, how is it possible that you have the price tags you have? Like, how is it possible that you're selling your one-on-one coaching for $250,000 and that business owners are buying? How is it possible? And the thing is always, I've never asked myself, how can I charge the highest prices? I've always asked myself, how can I create offers that truly change the world for my premium buyers? And that also means there's already a massive difference between buyers and sellers. People come into my world and they buy. I offer them and I show them what we have, but we don't sell. It's like none of my team members are going to reach out and say like, oh, you should buy this. And I don't believe in this, especially in the personal development world, where I deeply believe it's about alignment. And alignment means you don't need a special offer to buy, but you have to feel ready that when you buy a program, an offer, a mentorship, that you have everything in place to show up to do the work in order to get results. So this is something I want you to contemplate for this week. These are the 3 business fundamentals, which very often are surprisingly not in place if you want to grow to 8 figures. That is $1 million cash months. And that is, again, going to sum up. I have to understand how to make money. That is really understanding what is it that you are selling and why is it that people want to buy this from you and not somebody else. I want you to have a system in place that truly tracks the money that's coming in and out. Every business has this, and you're not a hobby, you are having a business. So that means also dealing with the things sometimes you may not want to. And the next part, the final fundamental, is really changing your business model that it focus on premium buyers, people that love to buy. They don't like it to be sold to. They know what they want. They're happy to spend money if it's one of the highest desires they have. If a program of yours solves this, it doesn't matter. It is never the price. It is always, is this truly valuable to us or not? I hope you love this episode. Tomorrow's signature episode, I'm going to share how I set this up for my business. We're diving into the exact how-tos. If you haven't signed up, make sure you sign up now for the signature edition. There are 2 ways you can pay. One is a monthly subscription. It's just $97. Or you do a full year and it's only $500 for the full year. And those episodes on Tuesdays, trust me, on Wednesdays, the how-to episodes you don't want to miss. Because this is where I'm sharing the knowledge of someone that has scaled their company to 8 figures. And these are the conversations I wish I had earlier. Someone shared this wisdom and knowledge with me much earlier in my journey. I think I would have been able to do this path much, much earlier. I love you. That's a wrap for today's episode. For more wealth building tips and audacious business moves, follow me on Instagram @richandhappy. So let's stay connected and keep growing.